The twin suns of New Earth hung low in the sky, casting long, golden shadows over the bustling city of Alaris. Its glass towers reflected the light like mirrors, while the streets below were alive with humans and aliens moving together in a rare harmony. New Earth was a young colony at the edge of explored space, but it had quickly become a hub of diplomacy and trade, thanks to the resourcefulness and courage of its human inhabitants. In one of the tallest towers, overlooking the city, Leora sat at her desk. Papers and holoscreens spread around her. She rubbed her tired eyes. Leading a planetary council was never easy. Every day brought new problems. Disputes with neighboring colonies, trade negotiations with alien species, and security concerns that stretched the planetary defense forces thin. Even with the best technology and the smartest advisors, it was exhausting. "Mom," a small voice called from the doorway. Leora looked up and saw Aaron, her young child, standing there with a hopeful expression. Aaron was clever, curious, and full of ideas, sometimes too many for one room. "Yes, Aaron?" Leora asked, smiling despite the fatigue. "I have an idea," Aaron said, stepping forward. "I want to help. You always look tired. And the galaxy, it's so big. Maybe someone could help you lead it?" Leora chuckled softly. "Lead the galaxy? That's a bit much for anyone, even me." Aaron's eyes sparkled. "Not just anyone. Someone human. Someone brave. Smart. And maybe a father?" Leora blinked. "A father?" "Yes," Aaron said earnestly. "You work so hard, and I wish for a father to help guide us. Someone strong, kind, and clever. Please, Mom. You don't have to do it alone." Leora felt her heart tighten. Her child's words were innocent but wise. She had always relied on herself, believing she could handle anything. But now, hearing Aaron's plea, she realized just how heavy her responsibilities had become. Aaron ran to a nearby console and began typing. "I'll send a message to the galaxy. Maybe someone out there will answer." Leora watched silently, both amazed and worried. The galaxy was vast, and the idea of sending such a personal request across the stars seemed bold, even reckless. But Aaron didn't hesitate. In a few minutes, a holographic message floated above the console. A simple, heartfelt plea from a human child, asking for a partner for their mother who could also help lead the colony and the humans in space. Leora sighed. "You are fearless. You know that?" "I'm just honest," Aaron replied. "And humans are honest. That's why we can do great things. Even in space." The message was broadcast across the Galactic communication network, reaching hundreds of worlds. Aliens and humans alike paused when they received it. They were not used to such open, emotional, and daring messages from humans. Some were amused, some were impressed, and some were genuinely intrigued. Meanwhile, on New Earth, life went on as usual, or at least as usual as life could be, when the future of a planet rested on one woman's shoulders. Leora returned to her papers, but her mind wandered to Aaron's words. Perhaps it was time to consider what her child had suggested, not just for her own sake, but for the future of humanity in the galaxy. Days passed, and the message spread further than anyone had expected. Across the stars, in the bustling cities of alien worlds, leaders discussed the human child's request. Among them was Admiral Kale, a human hero known across the galaxy. He had fought in countless campaigns, solving problems with intelligence, courage, and compassion. Kale had seen the galaxy's dangers and understood its politics better than most, but he had also lived a life of solitude. When Kale received the message, he paused. The simplicity and honesty of the words struck him. A human child asking for a father and a partner for their mother. It was unusual, daring, and inspiring. For the first time in many years, he felt a pull he could not ignore. Without hesitation, Kale set his course for New Earth. The journey would take weeks, but for someone who had faced the farthest reaches of space, it was a small price for the chance to make a difference. Back on New Earth, Leora noticed a change in the air. Alien and human emissaries began arriving, some curious, others cautious. They had heard about the child's message. Discussions in the council chambers now included mentions of courage, family, and leadership topics that had rarely entered formal galactic debates. Aaron, unaware of the stir, continued to prepare. "We need a list," Aaron said, scribbling in a notebook. "All the things a good partner and leader should do. They should be brave, smart, honest. They should laugh with us, fight with us, and guide us." Leora watched, smiling. "And you think anyone could meet all those things?" "Humans do," Aaron said firmly. "We always find a way." Weeks later, a sleek starship descended into New Earth's orbit. Its hull gleamed silver in the twin suns' light. Docking smoothly at the spaceport, Kale stepped out. His presence was commanding, yet calm. His eyes, sharp and intelligent, quickly scanned the crowd. Then he saw Aaron waving energetically and Leora standing with measured grace beside the crowd of diplomats and curious onlookers. Aaron ran forward. "You came." "I did," Kale said with a smile. "Your message was hard to ignore." Leora, cautious yet curious, extended her hand. "Admiral Kale, welcome to New Earth." "Thank you," Kale replied, bowing slightly. "I am honored by the trust of a child and the strength of a mother who leads a planet." Aaron tugged Kale's hand. "Come on. You need to see everything. You have to know what helping us really means." And so, Kale followed Aaron through the bustling streets, learning about New Earth's technologies, people, and challenges. He met humans and aliens alike, seeing firsthand how fragile yet remarkable this young colony was. As days turned into weeks, Kale proved himself in small but important ways. He mediated minor disputes between neighboring districts, shared ideas to improve resource distribution, and listened, truly listened, to both humans and aliens. Leora observed quietly, impressed despite herself. Here was a human who combined intellect, bravery, and compassion in ways that inspired trust and confidence. One evening, as the twin suns set, painting the city in warm oranges and purples, Aaron asked KL to join them at a small balcony overlooking the valley. "Why did you come?" Aaron asked. "Was it really just the message?" Kale smiled softly. "The message was part of it, but mostly, it was the courage it took for a child to ask for help. That courage is human, and I wanted to see it for myself." Aaron grinned. "Humans are amazing, aren't they?" Kale laughed. "Yes, they are." That night, as Leora and Kale discussed strategies for New Earth's future, Aaron quietly fell asleep in the next room, dreaming of a galaxy where humans were not just survivors, but leaders, where courage, honesty, and love guided them through the stars. Little did they all know, the ripples of this simple request, a child's hope for a family and a partner, would soon reach the farthest corners of the galaxy. Some would laugh at the audacity. Some would challenge it, but humans had a way of proving that their courage and creativity could change even the most vast and dangerous worlds. And in the heart of New Earth, a family, perhaps unusual, perhaps bold, was beginning to form. It was a start, and it was only the beginning. The arrival of Admiral Kale on New Earth had sent ripples through the colony. Humans and aliens alike whispered about the bold child who dared to ask for a father, and the hero who had answered that call. But for Leora, the arrival of Kale meant more than gossip or admiration. It meant that the weight of leadership might soon be shared. Kale had spent the first few days observing New Earth closely. He watched the council chambers, the trade districts, and the bustling spaceports. He listened carefully to the arguments of alien diplomats and the concerns of human citizens. He was not just a warrior. He was a thinker, a problem solver, someone who could see patterns others missed. Aaron, of course, followed him everywhere. The child wanted Kale to understand everything, every street, every market, every tiny quirk of human life on New Earth. "If you are going to help, you must see what we see," Aaron said with serious determination. "Humans are clever, but we have our mistakes. You need to know both." Kale smiled. "I will try my best, but I am counting on your guidance too. young ambassador. The first real test came sooner than anyone expected. A dispute had erupted with the neighboring alien colony of Viralis. A mining operation near the border had accidentally disrupted a sacred site, causing anger among the Viralis elders. Leora had been trying for weeks to mediate, but the talks had stalled. Tensions were rising, and a small skirmish was threatening to erupt. Kale volunteered to lead the mediation. "I will talk to the Viralis," he said. "But I need you both, Leora, for diplomacy. Aaron for perspective." Leora raised an eyebrow. "Perspective? Young humans see things differently," Kale explained. "They notice details adults overlook. They remind us why we lead in the first place." Aaron beamed. "I like perspective." At the meeting, KL listened more than he spoke. He observed the Viralis elders' gestures, their tone, and even the subtle vibrations in their voices. Human senses alone could not have detected these nuances. Then, combining careful logic with a touch of human honesty, he proposed a solution. The mining company would relocate part of its operation, and humans and Viralis engineers would work together to restore the sacred site. The elders were surprised. They had expected arrogance or threats, not understanding and collaboration. By the end of the meeting, they were nodding and agreeing to the plan. Leora could not hide her admiration. "You actually did it," she said quietly as they left the chamber. Kale shrugged. "Humans do strange things sometimes. We listen, we adapt, we care. And it works more often than not." Aaron clapped his hands. "That's why humans lead. You see? I told you humans are clever." Days passed, and Kale proved his worth in smaller ways as well. He helped reorganize the colony's trade network, making deliveries faster and more efficient. He suggested energy-saving techniques for the city, saving resources that had seemed wasted. And perhaps most importantly, he spent time with Leora and Aaron, learning about their lives and sharing stories of his own experiences across the galaxy. For Leora, these moments were both comforting and unsettling. She had spent years relying solely on herself. Now, someone had come not only to help lead but also to become part of her family. She could feel the change in the air. Her responsibilities felt lighter, but her heart felt heavier with questions she had avoided for years. Could she allow someone else into her life? Could she trust a stranger with the safety of her planet and the care of her child? One evening, the alert system on New Earth activated. Sensors detected unusual activity near the outer sectors of the colony. An unmapped fleet of ships, moving fast and ignoring standard galactic codes. Leora's heart sank. The sector was lightly defended, and the fleet's speed suggested urgency. Kale was already analyzing the data. "This is no ordinary patrol," he said. "It could be a rogue faction, testing our defenses. They may want resources, territory, or simply to challenge humanity." Tended. KL. Tended. KL. KL. Aaron peered over the console. "Can humans really stop them?" Kale's eyes softened. "Humans don't always stop them in the way others expect. We think, we adapt, we surprise." Leora nodded. She trusted him more than she realized. "Then let's prepare our defenses and our diplomacy." The next few days were a whirlwind of preparation. Kale led simulations, showing humans and aliens how to coordinate quickly and efficiently. Aaron helped with communication networks, creating clever ways to anticipate enemy moves. Leora handled negotiations, reaching out to neutral colonies for support. When the rogue fleet finally appeared near the edge of the planet, the humans and their allies were ready. What the rogue commanders expected was a scared, isolated colony. What they encountered was a unified force, humans and aliens working together in ways that showcased the strengths of both species. Kyle led a small squad to disable the enemy's navigation systems, while Leora coordinated defenses from the council chamber. Aaron, surprisingly calm for a child, monitored communications and suggested maneuvers that adults would have overlooked. By the end of the confrontation, the rogue fleet had retreated, impressed by humanity's resilience, cleverness, and unity. Kale looked at Leora and Aaron, a quiet smile on his face. "Humans do not just survive," he said. We lead, and we inspire. Aaron cheered. I told you, humans can do anything, Leora laughed, relief and admiration washing over her. Yes, she admitted. Humans can do anything when they work together and when they have courage. In the quiet that followed the battle, Kale and Leora sat on the balcony of their tower, watching the twin suns set. Aaron had fallen asleep, exhausted from the day's events. You handled that remarkably well, Leora said. Kale shrugged. I had help. Humans always have help, sometimes from unexpected places. Leora hesitated. Kale, do you ever think about more than duty? About family? About life beyond the council? Kale's eyes softened. I have thought about it. But never until now did I realize how important it can be. A child's hope. It can change everything. I have thought about it. Leora felt a warmth spread through her chest. She realized she had been too focused on duty, too cautious to allow herself hope. But seeing Aaron's joy and Kale's willingness to step into both their lives and the galaxy's challenges, she began to understand that hope was not weakness, it was strength. Over the following weeks, Kale became an integral part of the colony. Humans and aliens alike respected his decisions, admired his bravery, and trusted his judgment. Aaron was happier than ever, spending hours learning from Kale about strategy, history, and the stories of distant worlds. And slowly, Leora allowed herself to see Kale not just as a leader, but as someone who could share her life, her challenges, and her dreams. One day, as the family walked through a park filled with alien flora and human-designed structures, Aaron tugged Kale aside. Do you really like living here? With us? Kale knelt to meet the child's eyes. More than I ever expected. You and your mother. You remind me why humans are special. We are brave, clever, and full of heart. And I want to be part of that. Aaron smiled brightly. Then maybe you really could be our father. Kale laughed softly. Perhaps. But first, I must learn everything about being part of this family. The parting of day and night brought new challenges and opportunities. Leora and Kale continued to work together, managing the colony, solving disputes, and planning for the future. The galaxy had begun to notice New Earth not just for its resources or strategic location, but for the way humans led with heart, courage, and creativity. For Aaron, each day was an adventure, a lesson, and a chance to witness human greatness firsthand. And for Leora, each day was a reminder that strength could be shared and that sometimes, the bravest act of all was to let someone into your life. Little did they know, the rogue faction that had tested them was only the beginning. Across the stars, other powers were watching, curious and cautious. They had never seen humans act with such intelligence, unity, and emotional insight, and they were beginning to wonder, could humans truly lead the galaxy? As Part 2 closes, the stage is set. Humans, guided by courage, wisdom, and family bonds, are ready to face challenges larger than ever. With Kale by their side, Leora and Aaron are not just surviving, they are preparing to inspire and lead the galaxy in ways no one had imagined. New Earth had never been quieter or more alive. The twin suns shone warmly over the city, reflecting off the glass towers and bustling streets. Yet beneath the calm surface, the galaxy was stirring. The rogue factions that had tested the colony before were watching, as were other alien powers, curious about these humans who seemed so clever, so courageous, and so united. Leora, Kyle, and Aaron stood on the balcony of their tower, looking over the city. The events of the past months had changed everything. The colony was thriving. Thanks to their teamwork, humans and aliens had worked side by side, proving that collaboration, honesty, and clever thinking could solve problems that brute force never could. Aaron tugged Kale's hand. Do you see that? The market's full. And everyone is talking about how humans saved the sector. Kale smiled. Yes. And it's only the beginning. Humans have something special, something the galaxy hasn't fully understood yet. Courage, creativity, and heart. That combination, it changes everything. Leora placed her hand on Kale's shoulder. We've done well, but the galaxy is still bigger than us. We must be ready for what comes next. Kale nodded. And we will be. Together. The next challenge arrived sooner than anyone expected. Scouts reported a fleet of ships larger than the previous rogue group. This fleet belonged to the Korvax, a militaristic species known for conquest. They had been observing humanity's rise and had decided that New Earth must either submit or be destroyed. The news spread quickly. Citizens were frightened, and the council called an emergency session. Leora stood at the head of the table, Kale beside her. Aaron sat quietly, listening to every word, ready to offer insight in his own clever way. Leora spoke first. We face a threat larger than anything before. But we have something that cannot be measured by numbers alone. We have courage, creativity, and the unity of humans and our allies. We will not run, Kale continued. We will prepare defenses. Yes. But we will also seek diplomacy. We will show the Korvax that humans lead not through fear, but through intelligence and heart. That is our strength, Aaron piped up. And we can surprise them. Humans always surprise. The council nodded. Humans and aliens alike began preparing. Inspired by the words of this unusual family, Kale led the military strategies, using tactics that combined speed, clever maneuvers, and unconventional thinking. Leora managed diplomacy, reaching out to neutral colonies for alliances. Aaron suggested communication strategies and ways to confuse the Korvax, showing that even a child's perspective could influence galactic-scale planning. When the Korvax fleet entered the system, they expected an easy conquest. They found something they did not anticipate. Humans and their allies working together seamlessly, defending their planet with precision, creativity, and courage. Kale led a daring strike to disable the fleet's command ship, while Leora coordinated planetary defenses. Aaron, from the command center, noticed patterns in the enemy's communications and suggested unexpected maneuvers that allowed human and alien ships to flank the Korvax effectively. The battle was tense. Explosions lit the skies, and the air crackled with energy. Yet at every turn, humans adapted. They repaired damage faster, anticipated attacks, and exploited weaknesses with a mix of strategy and instinct. Aliens who had once doubted human ability were now witnessing firsthand why humans were feared and admired across the galaxy. By the end of the engagement, the Korvax fleet retreated. They had underestimated humanity's creativity, courage, and unity. More than that, they had seen humans not just as warriors, but as leaders who inspired others to stand together. KL turned to Leora and Aaron. Do you see? He said. This is what humans do. We face impossible odds and find a way, not through sheer power, but through cleverness, courage, and heart. Aaron cheered. I knew it. Humans always win. Leora smiled, pride swelling in her chest. Yes, but humans also inspire. That is our true strength. After the battle, the galaxy began to take notice. News of New Earth's defense spread to distant systems. Human ingenuity, bravery, and compassion became topics of discussion among alien leaders. Messages of admiration arrived, and even former rivals reached out, wanting to understand how humans could inspire such loyalty and courage. Amidst all this, Leora realized something important. Kale was not just a leader or a hero. He was becoming part of their family. She had spent so long carrying the burden alone that she had almost forgotten what it meant to share hope, responsibility, and love. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, Kale stood beside her. Leora, he said softly, I have seen many worlds, fought many battles, and led many people. But nothing has felt as important as being here with you and Aaron. Leora's heart beat faster. Kale, I never expected to feel this. To trust someone so completely. Kale reached for her hand. You don't have to do this alone anymore. Together, we can guide New Earth and humanity to the future it deserves. Tears welled in Leora's eyes. Yes. Together. The next day, the council chambers were filled with humans and aliens, diplomats and citizens. Leora and Kale stood at the front, hand in hand, a symbol of unity and hope. Aaron stood beside them, smiling proudly. Leora addressed the assembly. Today, we are not just leaders of a planet. We are a family that represents what humanity can achieve. Courage, creativity, and heart, these are the strengths we bring to the galaxy. And with unity, we can face anything, Kale continued. We invite all who wish to join us in peace and cooperation. Humans lead not through fear, but by showing what is possible when we work together. Let our actions inspire, not intimidate. The assembly erupted in applause. Aliens and humans alike were moved, not by power or threats, but by vision, bravery, and unity. Aaron clapped, jumping up and down. I asked for a father, and now we have one. But we also have something bigger. The galaxy can see humans as they really are. Leora hugged her child. Yes, Aaron. And it all started with your courage to ask. Kale joined the hug, feeling the warmth of a family he had never known he needed. Together, they formed a bond that was both personal and symbolic. A family representing humanity's strength, courage, and heart. In the weeks that followed, New Earth became a beacon in the galaxy. Humans led missions of diplomacy, trade, and exploration with new confidence. Alien allies joined in partnerships that were previously unimaginable. The rogue factions who had doubted humans now approached cautiously, respecting their intelligence and unity. Aaron, once a small child with a bold idea, became a young ambassador, teaching others about human creativity and problem-solving. Kale mentored Aaron and Leora, guiding them through the complexities of interstellar politics and strategy. Leora, with her new partner at her side, led with renewed energy and vision. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's rise, not as conquerors, but as leaders who inspired respect, loyalty, and hope. Humans had proven that courage, creativity, and compassion could overcome fear, hostility, and doubt. And at the heart of it all was a family. Not just a mother, child, and father figure, but a symbol of what humans could achieve when love, hope, and determination guided their actions. Aaron looked out over the city one evening, Kale beside him and Leora holding their hands. Do you think humans can really lead the galaxy? He asked. Kale smiled. Humans don't just lead, Aaron. We inspire. And when we do it together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Leora nodded. We started with a simple hope, a child's wish, but that hope became action, courage, and unity. That is humanity's true power. And so, New Earth stood proud. A small planet at the edge of the galaxy, yet a beacon of human potential. Humans were young in galactic history, but their creativity, courage, and heart had already begun to change the course of the stars. And for Leora, Kale, and Aaron, the future was not just about leadership. It was about family, hope, and the extraordinary possibilities of being human. The galaxy was watching, and humanity had proven, beyond doubt, that they were ready to lead.